Okay, Mom, you want to tell me about your sister, your younger sister, Beverly?
Okay. We were really fortunate that our parents included me and Dudley in all of the decisions and everything after her birth. I was 12 at the time and Dudley was probably about 8. Anyway, they called us in from play outside. We were always outside, and said that we were going to have a brother or sister. They didn't know in those days. They couldn't tell ahead of time. So we had to pick out. I don't remember anything about picking out a boy's name, just picking out a girl's name. And we had pretty much settled on either Donna or Lavon. But we weren't all happy with that, and I came up with the name Beverly. And both Mom and Dad liked that. But then we had a little trouble with the second name. I wanted Beverly Ann, and Dad didn't like Ann. He wanted Beverly May. So Beverly May it was for a girl. Well, then the preparations, for a new baby began at home. We picked up baby clothes and all the stuff that was needed for bathing her and all that stuff. Then the day came when she was to be born. And they woke us up early in the morning and told us that the baby was on its way and that we were to get up and get dressed, and they'd take us up to the neighbors, the Friars. So I remember very clearly going in just as daylight was breaking. And then later in the day, Dad came and told us we had a baby sister.
Was she born in the hospital or?
No, she was born in the
house that you lived in?
In the bedroom in the little tacky farmhouse that we had lived in. The farmhouse was to be just a temporary house, and when they could afford it, then they'd build a bigger house. They never could afford it. So we lived there all of our lives on the farm. And so she was born at home. All 3 of us kids were born at home. All I know about my birth was that it was in a snowstorm. But the doctor got there. And Dr. Crone from Black River got there for Mother's. She was born on May 5th. So it was pretty nice weather. Yeah. Oh boy, here comes your dog.
Okay, well, we'll listen to you. We'll both listen to you.
Come over here to be on the video. He only wants to come in to see you. Oh, yes, I'd like to see her.
Okay, so we left off with Beverly being born on the farm.
Yes.
So did you get to be a surrogate mother to her, being an
I
older
sure
sister?
did. But only for a couple days. And then Mother had to be put in the hospital because she had developed an infection.
Ah,
And of course she was breastfeeding the baby. There was no question in those days whether you breastfed or gave them a bottle. It was a depression. You couldn't afford to give them a bottle. The breastfeeding was free. So anyway, Beverly was taken to the hospital with Mother. And I don't remember how long Mother was in the hospital, but it was a good bit of time. And we had hired maybe a lady to come to take care of Mother, and the baby was there, so she was there. And when they came home, little baby Beverly was really spoiled. The nurses in the hospital had spoiled her because they didn't usually have babies that was growing older. And so she was beginning to be a real baby, and they all liked to hold her and rock her, and so she thought that's what life was all about when she got home. And but when they came home, I had to do the housekeeping until Mother got well enough. Then Beverly started growing up. See, being 12 years older than Beverly, and I went to Black Earth Falls for high school. I was soon ready to leave home and go live in Black Earth Falls during the week and just come home on weekends. But I can remember thinking she was the cutest kid in the neighborhood, you know. And we had a lot of good times and a lot of bonding then. But I wasn't there all the time. But I could just see her sitting on the steps with her bowl of Campbell's baked beans, and she with a spoon eating them, but her kitty cat was eating out of the dish. They both liked the baked beans, I guess. And then it went on. I was only home weekends, but I was home during the summer with her. And then the year that I graduated from high school, ready to go in nurses training, was the same year that our brother Dudley started high school and Beverly started first grade. They didn't have any kindergarten in those schools out in the country then. So we each started our education going on. And of course then I went away to Rochester and I wasn't with her. But I always heard about her when Mother wrote letters, so tell me what Beverly was doing. And she and Dudley then formed quite a bondship because the schools, the country schools were eliminated, and they all went to Townelma Center, and they had buses that would pick up the children in the country. And so she rode the bus to school, and I remember one story about they had made arrangements with some good friends of ours that were also brother and sister-in-law of my aunt that married one of Dad's brothers. So there was a connection with this family, and they made arrangements that if the bus couldn't get home in the wintertime, or something, that Dudley and Beverly would go to their house and stay at their house, until they could get home. No sleeping on the gym floor like it is in Atlanta now. And so, anyway, it happened the day before Valentine's Day. And Beverly had all of her Valentines addressed to her kids in her class. Now she was a lower grade elementary student. I don't know which year it was. But anyway, they couldn't get home to get these